So I was watching a video of somebody else doing a review talking about the 2K11. So one of the people in the comments was talking about how he realized that this gun had a flaw. Now, whether you want to consider it a flaw or not, that's a different conversation. It's actually the way the gun is designed. So it's not a flaw and it's not an error, right? So the way that these guns are designed, if you're familiar with 1911s, 2011s, in order to pull the trigger, you have to engage grip safety. So typically, when you're using a gun, you press the grip safety, and then you can pull the trigger, right? So what this guy was saying is, if you pull the trigger and then press the grip safety, the trigger will release. So meaning if you're already holding the trigger, then you press the grip safety, it'll still allow the trigger to pull, which, I don't know if that's an issue for you or not, but at the end of the day, you still have to engage the grip safety and for the trigger to pull, which means that the grip safety is functioning. Now, one thing that he was talking about is that on most 1911s, 2011s, if you're pressing the trigger and you do hit the grip safety, the trigger still won't pull until you release the trigger and then press the grip safety and then re-engage the trigger. But again, in my personal opinion, it's a non-issue. Like I said, the trigger won't pull without the grip safety being pressed. So you can press the trigger all day as long as you don't engage the grip safety. The gun will never go off. All right. So I don't know in what situation you would be holding the trigger and then pressing on the grip safety. That just doesn't make sense. So the gun also has a thumb safety that when the thumb safety is engaged, the slide is locked. So the gun will not do anything because the slide won't move back, which won't allow the trigger to be pressed or the gun to do anything, which is another safety mechanism. And one thing to note is on a lot of the newer guns, or I shouldn't say newer because this is a fairly new gun as well, but we'll get that out of the way. This gun is clear as well. You notice on this one, it's a 1911 double stack, more of a 1911 than a 2011. This one also has grip safety, which locks the slide, can't do anything, right? But it is absent for grip safety. And some of the newer 1911, 2011s, like the Staccato HD line, as well as the new CMX by CMXX or X, one of the Turkish brands, I can't think of which one it is, but at any rate, there are a lot of new ones that are coming out, which have the pin safety grip pinned, just like the Staccato HD line. So because most people, I would say a lot of people who use these guns don't like the grip safeties anyway. And again, I don't know who's sitting here pulling the trigger willy-nilly without the engaging the grip safety. If you're a safe gun user, then there's no reason for you to be just handling the gun and manhandling the trigger. That just doesn't make sense. So with this gun is concerned, like I said, trigger's locked, won't do anything. You can press it as hard as you want. Unless you engage the trigger safety, the gun won't go off. So don't pull the trigger when you're not ready to fire at something. Makes sense. Well, like I was discussing with him in the comments, I've spent the better of the last 2 decades around guns in some capacity, whether it was in LE or, just being a 2A advocate or a concealed carrier or whatever the case. And all my years of training, doing drills on the range, etc., around 1911s and 2011s, I have not seen a ND or AD from anything related to this. I've been around a lot of people using Kimber 2K11s as well as using my own and other people using them. And guess what? Not one ND or AD related to this, because the gun functions when the the grip safety is engaged, which is what it's designed for. So don't be an idiot. Don't be pulling the trigger. There's no reason you should be holding the gun or handling the gun by the trigger guard or by the trigger itself. So, all right, let me know what you guys think. And with that said, if you aren't training, you're slacking. So get to the range, practice, shoot, get familiar with your guns, practice gun safety, and, like I said, don't be an idiot.